With a heavy injury list and an even heavier round 1 defeat, St Kilda were expected by many to struggle in 2025. A few weeks later, the club has put in great performances that might set them up for a potential finals appearance, but more importantly, shows a clear path back to becoming one of the top echelon teams in the competition. Pair this with off-field improvements and the rumour mill in favour of them landing a star or two, and the Saints might be marching towards that second premiership much sooner than we all thought. Mitch Owens, Matthias Philippou, Max King, Paddy Dow and Cooper Sharman were the talented players out of that round 1 game against Adelaide. Pair that with the Crows' impressive home performances so far, and the game seems to be a blip on the Saints' season radar because the improvement across the board has been outstanding. Back in 2023, St Kilda got in Ross Lyon because they did believe their list was good enough. Turns out it was okay, but not great. They played finals that season and lost a home elimination final, and the decision was then made to overhaul the list to reach bigger heights. It's not so dissimilar to what we are seeing with Essendon and their plan to get in young talent. 2024 was a bit of a drop-off, and that brought in criticism, but the club and Lyon have made themselves very clear there is a big list turnover happening. The truth is, the Saints are young, the equal third youngest list with Essendon and a 14th for average games played. It's deliberate and working. Let's take a look at the team against Port Adelaide, who conjured up a fantastic away victory, and pick out some of the improvers so far. The small forwards of Jack Higgins, Lance Collard and Max Hall are flying under the radar. Higgins is a natural goal machine, Collard can pressure well, and Hall can get up the ground and link. It's a nice little trio that not many have spoken about. Then the obvious young stars in Nasai Wanganeen Malira, Mitch Owens, Darcy Wilson and newly drafted Toby Travalia cover each of the lines. Windhager can play multiple roles, including as a tagger, and his midfield running mate in Hugo Garcia is still raw, but has improved a lot in just 12 months. They are the main pieces of youth, taking up big roles, performing, and most importantly improving. The tools in that game in Cooper Sharman and Anthony Caminiti, who is now in defence, also look solid. Hopefully Matthias Philippou, who was having a ripping pre-season, Max King and Liam Henry can further add more depth to the talent on field. With the growing success and optimism on field, the Saints have done everything to try and become just as attractive off it. A Herald Sun article documenting the Saints' goals best outlines the lofty standards the club wants to set. St Kilda has ambitious plans to continue its overhaul, to bolster its father-son academy, to embrace its past players like never before, to become the best team at recruiting Indigenous talent. So how do they want to achieve all this? Well, for the Indigenous players, the club has set up a dedicated yawa, which roughly translates to journey room, at Moorabbin, where the portraits of every First Nations AFL and AFLW player to represent the club is displayed. Players' futures are also on Lyon's minds. He said recently that players spend about 16 hours per week at the club, excluding game days, but the flip side to that is that he now demands every player on the list either works or studies in their time away from the club. Some players run businesses, most study a range of courses from business degrees to carpentry courses. Throw in the matchday concierge, put together by President Andrew Bassett, which gets the families of the members of the club together and takes care of things from babysitting to ticketing. It's a clear shift in culture that is prioritising more work-life balance and the families of the players. The club is also looking to get their VFL affiliate in Sandringham to train at Moorabbin Oval and haven't ruled out the possibility of soon having their own standalone VFL team. So why have the Saints, led vocally by Bassett and Lyon, been so keen to shift the club's image in just a few seasons? Well, obviously it improves the morale of those at the club, but it is to become a destination program that players want to join. The Saints will continue drafting young players, but nabbing a free agent or big trade target here and there can make a big difference. The Herald Sun article did refer to the potential issue of the Messiah complex at the Saints. Offering huge money to a single player and getting them can cause that individual to be seen as the saviour or Messiah to change the club's fortunes. In reference to the huge Finn Callaghan deal the club offered, the Herald Sun said this: "Players these days don't want to do that. They want to be part of a team, not be seen as the Messiah." Finn Callaghan made clear that arriving at St Kilda as that Messiah was the last thing he was interested in, even if he believed they might win a flag at some stage. But this potential off-putting part of mega deals won't stop St Kilda. The big fish they are now after is Tom De Koning. They've offered him $1.7 million a year for who knows how long. Now his fit with Rowan Marshall can be debated, but De Koning is a star player, and with the cap room St Kilda have, that figure probably isn't as big in the context of their salary cap. It's a good sign he clearly has interest as he has put off talks with Carlton. Miles Bergman, who is out of contract, is another link with St Kilda. He's from the Bayside suburbs and is a great fit. He's just 23 and could easily slot in defence, although could explore a move in the midfield, either on the ball or a wing. Throwing out of favour GWS defender Lika Lear as well, who is stuck behind Sam Taylor and Jack Buckley, despite showing plenty when he has played at AFL level. Now there is no guarantee St Kilda will get all three of these players, but the signs are positive and all three make sense. Not only could St Kilda get three quality players in, but show the rest of the AFL world and themselves that they are a destination club and that their hard work off and on the field has reaped rewards. So for the first time in a while, there is real excitement and optimism at the Saints. Everyone seems to be aligned in what the club wants to achieve and how they are going to do it. Now it's back over to the drafting and list management team to continue to gather more young talent and hopefully land a big fish or two to catapult St Kilda back in the premiership race. With games against the Western Bulldogs, Brisbane Lions, Fremantle and Carlton to come in the next block of 4 matches, it will give the Saints fans a good indication of where the team sits in 2025. You would think 2 wins and 2 losses would be good enough to give legitimate belief 2025 might bring up a surprise finals appearance.